JP Kim, and I'm here to introduce a little bit of Korean law. Well, as a criminal lawyer in Korea, I've frequently been asked many questions, but one of the simple questions that I've been asked was, what do you do? Simply, what do you do as a criminal lawyer in Korea? Well, answers can be very different types of can be answered in very, very different forms. But I simply answer like what I do as a criminal lawyer is to protect the rights of my clients. But mainly because of the media, I guess, the criminal lawyer is simply misunderstood. The role of criminal lawyer can be simply misunderstood, like rainmakers or miracle workers, right?
100% innocent.
Make something great out of nothing. Maybe because of Netflix movies or the shows, how they project the lawyer in that show, in the types of show, it's a very dramatic and interesting. But most of my job is not that interesting. So I cannot say I am not aware of the statistics, but most of the cases, like 90 of them, they are guilty. The clients who come up to me and say, "Hey, I've been accused of crime, and what do I do?" Most of the cases, they are guilty. But in rare cases, I have some experience on that too, but one of maybe 100 cases, they are not guilty. That's what we are looking for. And in that regards, I can categorize my job as a criminal lawyer in Korea into two categories. One is working on sentencing, and the other is proving not guilty. Let's talk about sentencing, right? Unlike in Canada or the States, we do not have a plea bargaining system here in Korea. I don't like the term bargaining because sentencing is not something that you can bargain with, right? But we don't have that system here. So what I do about sentencing is, I ask a favor. I ask judges to give my clients some favor in terms of the sentencing. There are many factors you can think of when it comes to sentencing stages, right? But we do have some guidelines. We have written laws, the criminal code, and we have some guidelines from the Supreme Court. So we work within that guideline. I have to mention that, like I said, my job is easily be misunderstood by other people that, like rainmakers, the miracle workers and everything, but we have certain ethical rules to play with. We have a certain rule that we have to abide by, and we are bound to that rule. And within that ethical rule, we do everything to protect my clients, right? In regards of that, in terms of sentencing, I file as many factors as possible for my clients in terms of the sentence, like how he or she has been grown, how he or she has been struggled with many problems, and how did they cope with those problems. Those various factors if those factors are presented into the court, those factors can be considered when judge consider the sentencing. That's simply what I do. And I have to say something about forgiveness, right? Let's say some crimes where the victims are, like simply murder, assault, right? When that happens, you have to get some forgiveness from the victim. That is one of the most important factors when it comes to deciding sentencing for those convicted, right? So whole process, I do everything that I can do in favor of my clients in terms of sentencing. And the other, the most beautiful and most interesting part of my job, proving not guilty.
I'm the innocent bystander. Somehow I got stuck.
Sometimes, well, stories are very complicated. And unlike the movies or the shows, what really happens in real day lives are very complicated, and there are lots of stories, even in some simple demeanor crimes like burglary or something, right? So in those scenarios, in those stories, I have to find some factors, legal factors, to be presented inside of the court to fight for the justice out of it, right? Starting from the evidences and starting from some laws, right? What I do as a criminal lawyer inside of the court is to present the reasonable doubts as many as possible so that the judge can think, well, this could be happen, right? To prove someone is guilty has to be done by, the burden of proof is on the prosecutors, right? They have to prove someone is guilty or not guilty without the reasonable doubts. What I do as a criminal lawyer is constantly giving all the reasonable doubts inside of the court so that the judge can think differently. That's what I do. So as a founding partner, this law firm, LKS Law, Lee, Kim, and Sung, attorneys at law, we are dedicated to prove and to protect our clients. Because I cannot hardly imagine the foreign people who has been accused of crime here in Korea. Like, you don't speak the language and you don't know the culture, right? And this is justice system. Even Korean doesn't know how to cope with this, how to navigate through our whole this criminal system. And you are, as an expat who live in Korea, and if you are seriously being accused of a crime, and you definitely need some help, and that help can be from us. Thank you, and I'll be come back with more interesting topics. And if you like this video, please subscribe, and see you next time.
Like I always say, if you got the right lawyer with you, we've got the greatest legal system in the world.